And we are off. All right, we're here with another app update for PBD 100, the insane 25-player faction game that we've started almost a year ago. I don't know, last August or something. I'm HolyTispoon from the ASYNC TI4 server, and with me is Brassbird. Good morning. Oh, I can't hear you now. Why can't I hear you? What have I done? Oh no. I did one thing, fixed one thing.
Fix it.
Oh no, yeah, now I hear you. All's well. Brassbird, you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you. I'm barely awake, y'all. Just a warning.
Yeah. Well, that you're here to add that extra spice of fun as I'm going to introduce and debate our nomad master, Simple.
Thank you for having me this morning.
All right, so
I do have to qualify, though, that I am not the Nomad Master. That, in fact, is Hadouken. I simply run his secretary desk.
I
That is
love it.
amazing. He has asked me several times to remove the nomad role from him, and I have not done that.
Why would you ever? Why would you ever?
Yeah, no, Hadoken he's a pillar of the community. All right, so
Yes.
first of all, maybe we'll do a quick catch up. I don't really know. I think last time we talked, Brassbird, was it just we were just starting the agenda, or
No, we were still in the midst of the round, I think. I can't remember, but I do remember clearly that it was right after the yin punched me in the butt
yes,
at Lysis Velnor.
right. And we're looking at it right now on the screen. It's right. That's why
Yeah.
there are some brown poopy ships above purple
Uh,
joyous clones on
oh
license.
my God, dude. It was rough. It was ugly to see.
It was ugly to see. We'll see where this goes. And if you look to northeast of it in Grus Mashal, you will see where we bugs were squashed by the invasion of
Hmm.
the Jolnar, who, I mean, I'm kind of using the stage here, of course, abusively before I'm going to give free advertising space to to Nomad, just for laughs. They had nothing to do with the token and the free dread, so they decided to come and exterminate with X89 some bugs. Oh, not X89, just bombardment, but Jolnar bombardment. They'll soon have X89. Um, and then integrate economy, 6 new fish on Gruesome Shell by our home system. So that happened. You know, I feel like this game has turned into like a little bit of a rumor mill. Oh, look at this. We have starters with googly eyes right here in this whole home system.
Hmm.
That's cute.
Mm.
They pop up here and there. Oh, we also had, of course, Simple. Maybe you can give us a little bit of a recap of that. I feel like this game is a little bit like, have you heard about this? It's like it's a marathon of endurance of who can keep up with all the nonsense that's going on.
Mhm.
We've had a Mantak invasion of the extra home system. Simple. I think you were following pretty closely. That was really a pretty close combat, wasn't it?
Honestly, I have to say, I was on my anniversary trip when that happened, so I did not pay too much attention to that. The last major thing that happened to me while I was really paying attention, besides the agendas, um, was Necro being eliminated by Jolnar.
Yeah, yeah, we talked about it before. That's very sad. We can see the Jolnar fleet parking in Mordai, and of course, Nomad. You then jumped onto Vefet, which caused some
Yeah.
consternation to the Jolnar, who, as a
Yeah, and
consequence,
funnily enough, that is exactly what led to you
yeah,
guys having to deal with them at Gruce.
yeah,
So I'm somewhat sorry about that.
yeah. Sorry, not sorry from the Nomad, of course. I mean, well, I was going to say, as a consequence, they decided to punch down and come harass us. Now, I whined about this invasion so much that they have now said that they will leave. That's the power of whining. Uh, Taking a page out
It's amazing.
of the Bam Bam book. All right, so this is the sad part. Brass, were you following along expendable, bold, and costly invasion of the extra home system?
I didn't follow along like the exact details of like because it was a very long thread of him rolling and everything, but I was there for him planning the invasion, and I just got to say I don't think I've ever met someone more bloodthirsty than Expendable. Love him to death, but I've never seen someone just like jonesing so hard for violence in this game.
Yeah.
And gotta respect it because there were a lot of PDS shots that he was walking into, and he knew that it was going to be that many, and he just did all sorts of calculations like, what can I bring? What can I do? They might use Graviton. I think they did use
They
Graviton.
did,
So
yeah.
how can I bring
Yes.
even more non-fighter ships to soak that up? Um, so the whole thing was dicey from the start, and just got to say, respect is Expendable for going for it, and I kind of can't believe it worked.
Yeah, it was very close not to work. I think something I remember Expendable saying beforehand was really funny because Cleaner Code has been our extra player, and then we added a few new people, Relic and Somno was trying to support teams. Then Somno now moved to Letnev, so it's pretty funny because they joined, Somno joined, ruined this combat in the home system, and left the team. Uh, well, one thing that happened is like Cleaner Code was like, "Can I pay you not to do this?" And Expendable was like, "No, I just want to eliminate players. I have made
Yeah.
this my goal."
Mm-hmm. Which is a valiant goal in this game
Yeah,
because the fewer players there are, the like you shave a month off the game for every player. So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Expendable's aiming for a 2023 finishing window for this game.
yeah. I mean, I agree with you in the abstract, but as a squashed bug, I'm very concerned about this mentality. Who's
Yep.
next on the
Yep.
docket? But what happened was, I didn't follow closely, but there was a lot of PDS shots. Expendable had some bad luck with the dice, and Somno decided to retreat, which
Ah.
was a decision he later regretted. So I think Expendable build, you can see now we're looking at the extra home system. There's a ton of ships there because he, of course, Expendable is our integrated stand. So he
Mm-hmm.
has integrated economy and he built some new stuff here. And I think it turned out okay. But I think that part of it was an erroneous retreat out of the extra forces
Mm-hmm.
that made it work okay. But I don't know what's going on, what's going to happen with this because Extra is not out. Extra has quite a few things still going on.
And now Bam Bam gave them Primor
Back, gave them back, so they
back.
cannot
Gave
be
them Primor
eliminated.
back.
Yeah,
Yeah, for real.
yeah. So that was kind of a. We'll see what happens with that. The only other interesting thing I've heard is Muat aggressively lobbying, selling fires to try to get their home system back. Which
Mhm.
you must admire, right? You can't, even though you want fewer people to be in this game, you can't, hold it against someone for trying so hard to hang on. Look, they have two war sons. They just played leadership, and they have no. The only plans they have is a 0-1.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Mm-hmm.
it's sad, it's rough, but they're trying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. For real.
All right, so that's the only like big updates that I had. Then we had an agenda phase, and in the agenda phase, there was what is often, I wouldn't say nothing burger agenda, but not the biggest of deals, right? Minister of Commerce. That gives you some trade goods when you replenish commodities, as many as the number of um, neighbors you have. And let me say something about the agenda phase here. It's like because so many people are voting and most people's votes don't matter except for Argent. Argent's kind of a big player. They vote first. But then like some people negotiate and deals are made and then what happens is like most people kind of end up falling in line. They're like, "Ah, I wasn't paying attention. Ah, this is the way the agenda is going. I'm just going to go with it." But Simple, you saw a big opportunity for the Nomad Corporation with Minister of
Mm-hmm.
Commerce. Is that
Yeah.
so? This is the beginning of Nomad Coin, which we'll get to in a moment. I'm going to dig into that image so I could put it on the video. Tell us what you saw about Minister of Commerce that got your wheels turning there.
Well, when Nalu originally was the one who revealed during the first agenda that the second one would be Minister of Commerce.
Oh yeah, right.
Susan, they revealed this, and instantly there was a bit of a back and forth. Like Fingolfin, he was talking about, oh, who's going to get the most money out of this? I wonder. And I realized that even though Nomad currently only had 9 neighbors, which in this game is surprisingly not very much, due to Artuno, which is a big reason for Nomad always loving to see Minister of Commerce come out, see if they can finagle their way to get it. Normally, it's like you get an extra 5 trade goods per round. But with this game, with so many potential neighbors, Artuno prints money. And that
it's
allows you
Artuno.
to make more money than any other faction, just in potential.
Right, and it's not just Artuno. It's Artuno, Clever Shrew, Temporal Command Suite, and the Hakan Agent. All of them.
And Biostem.
Yes, and Biostems is coming thanks to research agreement. Now, any faction could use all of those other assets. If they paid Nomad to use Temporal Command Suite, if they paid Yssaril and Hakan, like I'm paying Yssaril and Hakan, they could do this too. But Nomad has that slight edge of being able to control it all and also having Artuno.
Yeah. Artuno is just like the inherent thing here that is just like doubling, just inherently doubling all of this nonsense.
Yeah.
So all in all, between Minister of Commerce, Artuno, doing it 2 times, and then Yssaril Agent as Hakan, and Hakan Agent, and Temporal Command Suite allowing Artuno or Yssaril or Hakan to ready Biostems to do that again, you are getting 6 times, however many neighbors you have, which is currently 16 for me, and turn 1, I got 7 more neighbors.
Oh my god!
First action. You actually bought Gift of Prescience, the Nalu promissory note that lets you act on the 0 for the explicit, very unusual use of it, but the explicit reason to move somewhere. Where did you move? Let me find it.
It was the Gravity Rift.
Alpha Beta Grav Rift in L1 territory.
Yeah, this is it right here. Who did it give you? What neighbors did it give you that you didn't have before?
I made a whole like Excel spreadsheet
I'm not
of most neighbors. Let's see. It gave me from what I did not already have, Sardak, Nalu, L1, Barony, and Mahakt, who are on alphas or betas, and then also Extra and Muat, who are adjacent to that system just by being there.
Amazing. You even caught Muat that's on only 2 hexes on the board, 2 supernovas.
Yeah, that was a big one. That was a big one.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you are now, as a consequence, let's find your stats. You're, of course, only at 5 trade goods because you just gave up a bunch, right? You made a bunch and you gave up a bunch.
And we'll get into that. We'll get into that after we kind of get into the whole theme of NomadCoin and what it really means to be a NomadCoin owner.
All right, so let's get to it. Before I'm going to give you free advertisement time, because I'm very well aware of my fiduciary duties as a non-partisan journalist in this galaxy. I'm getting some NomadCoin images, of course. I'm talking about this. I'm kind of seeping corruption. So you're like, oh, I can make a ton of money, which is cool. That's something that I think a normal TI player would think and be into. But then you also thought, no, I can also concoct my own financial scheme here. That
scheme's the right word for it. Yep.
I'm walking the line because Simple has already threatened me with legal implications. So So Simple, you decided you're going to issue your own currency.
Yes. What's the best way to get into this? Honestly, before I really delve into this, I want to talk about NomadCredit, which came before.
Yes, it's really important.
There have been schemes already. In this game, in this 25-player game with every faction, there is so much stuff to buy. So being a used car salesman, and Nomad can sell cars like nobody's business,
Sure.
leads to you being able to buy a whole lot of stuff. That gift of prescience, by the way, I bought in round 1.
Oh,
I
nice.
didn't know when I was going to use it. I bought it for 2 uses of cavalry because Susan was eliminating somebody,
Yes,
as
that's
they do.
right. That's right.
The Empyrean.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
So,
And by the way, NomadCoin image is now on the screen. I'm just playing
Oh,
around with it.
I made that, by the way.
yes,
It's
I
Brassbird did a
beautiful.
wonderful job.
I made the emoji.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
This broadcast is
I paid him a
sponsored.
whole coin for it.
This broadcast is sponsored by the Nomad Corporation, with the explicit aim of raising the very hurt Sardak economy by purchasing and speculating on Nomad Coin. All right, so there were Nomad credits. So um,
Yes.
Nomad
Credit
credit.
came about because I wanted to sell my Alliance card.
Hmm. Hmm.
I wanted to sell it not just once, but for people to use it over and over again to build their flagship for free. And I wanted to sell it at a rate of like 2 trade goods, but I was worried about people not giving it back.
Yeah, yeah.
So I did this whole credit thing where if I don't trust you at all, I've never done any deals with you, I will sell it to you for 6 and I'll give you 4 trade goods back when you give it back to me. But if I trust you, like if factions have done good stuff for me, I have good working relations, you get Nomad credit. And for each credit you get, it discounts that down payment and down as far as just the 2 trade goods you pay, and then I expect you to give it back because we're friends. That's how Nomad credit came about.
Yeah, so
And
Nomad
I had
credit.
this list of people with credit. It's kind of arbitrary, but that's by the point.
Yeah,
Um,
Nomad credit. I'm just showing the list. Let me make it big on the screen. So a lot of players who play TI would keep like a friendometer. Nomad
mhm.
credit is like a friendometer on steroids because of course Simple
Yeah.
is that kind of person. So
Kraken is my role model.
yeah, Kraken. I was going to mention the Kraken
Oh my God, that's
casino,
so great.
of course. But so here you see Nomad Coin with credit, but before there was credit, you had a credit score of how well
Yes.
you were doing with the Nomad Corporation, and that was so Simple was already having a spreadsheet where he was keeping tags of every faction in the game, and then you were like, hang on, in the next 2 rounds, I'm going to make 16 times 4 trade goods per round.
Hmm.
And you're looking into
I'm
the
sick.
future and seeing possibilities,
Hmm.
right? And of course, Brassbird is going to be representing the crowd of people who said, I don't understand what you're talking about, but I want in.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. I will say it right now. I am an early adopter of Nomad Coin. I very
Mhm.
consciously wanted to get in on the ground floor, and I've made quite a few memes about Nomad Coin now. I really like the one I put up on Meme City. That one turned out really really great. The
all right,
Get Hip
send me a
Grandpa.
link. Send me a link so
Oh,
I
send
could,
you a link. Okay,
yeah.
that's okay. Okay,
I
okay,
can
okay.
represent the more skeptics, the
Uh-uh.
defamators later. But all right, so you are like, I can up the scheme here of Nomad credit.
Yes. And it didn't come about right away. The first thing I thought when I heard Minister of Commerce is coming out is, oh my God, I can make Nomad credit real. I can make it worth money to have Nomad credit. So I told all my credit people, hey, I will pay you trade goods equal to your credit if I get Minister of Commerce. And if I had done that, that would have left me with like no money per round. I'd have to be paying people in the agenda phase when our turn after our Tuno readies.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but then I realized something even better because I was happy to do that. I just wanted to have my credit have the backing of the gold standard,
Hmm.
gold and trade goods, of course. So I then realized, wait, hold on a moment. If instead of giving the trade goods right away, I give people what is effectively a debt token
Mm-hmm.
and let have them let me keep the trade goods with me, but in order to facilitate that, do what banks do, offer interest. You leave your trade goods with me, they will double the amount. Your credit, these debt tokens you have, double every single round.
Stonks.
So yes, stonks go up, line goes up. If you have 12 coin this round, next round you will have 24. And you can always cash that in at any point 1-to-1 for trade goods with me.
Just want to make sure you know what's on the video. As you were talking, and of course, anyone who hasn't studied economics kind of like was probably dying a little. I'm, I'm showing memes, and I'm right now on JSX, who added simple number 6676 as the Nomad PBD 100. In A64, Nomad's coins are forever, forever, forever.
Jazz Hand did a great job with that.
Yeah, I showed Brassbird. I showed your memes as well. Right. So
yes.
you are effectively what you were saying is I'm going to pay you interest for money that this is why you say as accurately as you said this is like what banks do, or at least what they're supposed to do before they started doing other more advanced shenanigans. But at least in theory, what banking is they're making use of someone's money when they're not using it, giving it to someone else who can make more money out of it. Except you're leveraging it through the game mechanics of Artuno and Minister of Commerce, and actually recently you started getting interested in other trade good. You're like, hang on, what if I were to take all the trade good generating abilities in the game and pump that into my bank, my Nomad bank, right?
This is the most important part. This is the reason why I'm trying to keep it to myself, so that I can then, again, as any good banker would, reinvest.
Yeah,
you
that's the cool part.
To make money. So I've been talking with Joel Nar, because obviously the next broken trade good generation thing in the game, ERES. That's the first thing I think of. How can I make ERES work with this? And it does.
And they're down. You know they're down.
Well, 100%. it took some convincing on Jedi's part. Finn was interested.
Oh, totally.
All right, so tell us about the ERES. Then we're going to get to X99 Crimson Legionnaires, because that's also really funny.
While I was talking about doing ERES and spending 3 trade goods to get 4 with the help of Joel Nar, Mahakt Aranos comes in and is like, hey, I want to make free money too. Tell you what, you get X89 over to my home system, we're just going to print money. I'm going to put infantry on my home system. Crimson Legionnaire 2 is a horrible faction tech, but it is the one reason why it exists is to make free money. That's the whole reason why Dane put it in the game, because the infantry comes back at a 100% rate and it makes money every time. You put 23 infantry on Ixth, and 1 bombardment generates 10 trade goods, 3 commodities. And then Mahawk uses their agent on me when I do my strategy card. Do it again. If I have warfare, it doesn't work, actually.
For sure.
Yeah, because the Mahawk agent and the warfare card, but unexpected action.
No, you can do it with the warfare. You just have to pick up 2 tokens. You need to have 2 tokens.
Yes, I could, but I couldn't pick up the same token on Ixth. Which is very important, because they always go back to Ixth. You will notice right now, by the way, that Yssaril has how many? 14 trade goods? And growing? Yeah. That is very important, because as you know, Minister of Commerce is an agenda. They have 22. They have 22 trade goods.
Oh, wow.
Minister of Commerce is an agenda, and what are agendas vulnerable to?
Repeal.
Oh, repeal. Yeah, for sure.
There we go. 22. Yeah.
Man, they're gonna hold you over a barrel, huh?
I told Toron playing Yssaril, he's like, how much are you gonna pay me to keep going along with this scheme?
Oh, the extortion already happened, huh?
Yeah. No, it's not really extortion, it's just negotiation. I'm not feeling the extortion vibe from Toron, even though I certainly have in the past. I told him, you have a blank check. Ask me for as much as you want. Just leave me enough gas in the tank to get it moving.
And
Oh
look,
my
So
gosh.
he asked
Yassar
for
has the
14
Nomad
straight
Alliance.
goods.
Yep. Yep.
Has the
And
Nomad
that's
Alliance right
why,
now, full of tokens, 255.
yes,
You can see the
yes,
same on Nomad, of course. Nomad 743, no more tokens in the bag, one token in the bag for deep low. You
yeah.
can see it, it's really funny how this diverges the rich and the poor here. Let's look at
Hmm.
Hakan. Of course, Hakan is also a big, important facilitator of these things. Nine trading
Hmm.
goods in the morning, 352. And then you look at Sardak. we are starting, we started run 4 of this game for the 4th time in a row with 111 in our token pool.
111.
We just
Oh
played
my god.
leadership because we finally had, you know, an ability to pick a strategy card. So we picked leadership. So
Hmm.
we are at 4-2. We have 2 in fleet. So that's new. That's new for us. That was cool. But it
Yeah, the
really is
way that the
like,
speaker token has functioned in this game has led to a lot of the same factions getting very bad speaker order. So you've definitely been a victim of that.
but it's also like we have nothing to like what you've described with our Tuno, with the action cards, with
Mhm.
Erez, with Hakan, all of these factions, Mentak with like how important they are to all these transaction pillages and mirror computing and allowing things to go smoothly. The scale with 25 players or even 22, 24, the scale of all of these things is just insane, right?
Yeah.
Starduck has got nothing that really operates at very different at scale. We're still constrained by the geography of Gamma Mama. We still started with no tech, so it's kind of interesting to see some factions like really have an extra juice to go on in this kind of context, and others like
Yeah.
we just don't. I mean, I think Teklar maybe we could have like more aggressively sold it earlier on when these like 1 versus 1 ground combats were happening. But
Oh
right now
sure.
it's like X89, huge bombardment, and like
Hmm.
I mean, you definitely did a great job with the cavalry in round 1 to get your engine going, right? The cavalry was like a
Mhm.
really big sailor.
Hmm.
Yes. Well, cavalry is the strongest combat promissory note in the game,
I can
especially in the
I can
early
agree
game.
with that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I can agree with that for sure.
In the late game, maybe war funding overtakes in these huge combats, but early game, definitely the cavalry.
Definitely.
And that was such a big sell. I think I sold it 6 times in the first round.
Yep.
That's
Yep.
huge.
Huge. Huge.
And it's
I
space
could,
combat, right? So Teklar and Greyfire Mutagen is like ground combat, which I mean could
Hmm.
also be
mhm.
big, but I don't know. People just
I
really
did
got
see
that
Yin
cavalry.
selling Greyfire a good amount.
Yeah, and Yin's doing okay.
Yeah, they're doing all right. They're doing all right.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump in and just say that, like, what is so intriguing to me about NomadCoin, more like in the abstract, and just like what's been happening in this game overall, like Spoon, what you were talking about with like all these factions have all this stuff going on. It's just so thematic, like it really is, and it's like all these people involved in this game didn't necessarily like try so hard to be like, I'm gonna do this and it's gonna be so thematic for my faction. We're all just like playing this game. We're all just like feeling around in the dark. We're all just like trying to figure out like how we're going to navigate this madness,
That's
and
right.
the results that have come across is all this stuff that is like just so completely like appropriate and lore like specific and just feels so right for all these factions. And Nomad Coin, I think, is just like one of the best examples of that, where it's like that's just the Nomad's lore, is that he's like mysterious and like comes in with all this money
This
that
future
nobody knows like
knowledge.
where he came from, in future knowledge. He used future knowledge to like invest in all these money
Yeah.
opportunities. So if anyone was going to do this, the Nomad would be the faction to do this, you
That's
know?
right.
Yeah.
And
That's definitely why I got Temporal Command Suite in round 1 agenda phase
Mm-hmm.
with research grant allocation. I knew this was going to happen. So
Just had a
just
premonition,
glad that it
huh?
worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look at this Julnar tech board. Look at this. It's so
Yeah.
beautiful, right? That's the Julnar thing. It's also interesting to see like Coloris and NRA, all these like I think Empyrean were eliminated too early. People were not yet aware, but now people are more like who's expendable for elimination in terms of like now people kind of see the potential of abilities like the cavalry or like something like NRA's like black market forgery. People are like, we don't want this to go away. We
Yeah.
don't want this to it's too
Hmm.
good to have around for the rich factions to be like,
Hmm.
I don't want to spend 3 frags. I want to spend 2. So
Hmm.
I'm not gonna let them get eliminated. You know what? I can spend some resources and money and whatever. And I think this is what's really cool about how a lot of these like you say, these emergent thematic things like Hakan at first was like really plastic light, and the first Hakan player was like kind of worried. That's why they were like not charging much money at all for the first round trade, um, facilitation, and all of that stuff. And people got used to having Hakan do all this work for them, and so they're like, nobody's gonna bother Hakan. They're so important for a lot of things go and now a lot of people are neighbors and they don't need this anymore, and yet Hakan like thrived on that. Like they really built it through. Now they're rich, now they're well established, that kind of thing. So it's really cool to see how these things really, these like
Hmm.
small thematic abilities like being able to transact with non-neighbors has made this huge difference, right? That have made people want to get them
Yes.
get on their good side, be involved, you know.
And people have adopted roles.
Yeah,
Like you've
Mhm.
got Yusaro who are like, hey, I am the garbage man. You have trash action cards, I will pay you for them.
that's right.
Hakan is the sort of transactory way that people get across the galaxy with all kinds of different things. Ghosts, notably, are the transportation service. They
Sure.
give
Yes.
IFF to whoever needs it as long as you give them your
The
ceasefire.
ceasefire, yeah. That's another one of my favorite things that's happening in this game, and it is so thematic.
Yeah.
They're just like because I feel like I recently won a Ghosts game. I'm very proud of it, and something I realized in that game is that like the intent of the design with IFF is that you're supposed to be slutty with it. You're supposed to be so open and easy, but like still get paid.
Sure.
Like still get paid, but it's like don't really be discriminate about like, oh, I'll sell it to you, but I won't sell it to you. It's like just get those wormhole tokens out there.
And
And I
they've been
think that
moving so much. Look at them
oh
in
my
the extra
god,
home system right now.
incredible. They're all over the place, and I feel like that's the way it's supposed to be. And like the ultimate thing to get paid is like the ceasefire, right? Like they're
That's right.
untouchable. They're untouchable by so many factions right now.
Yeah, and they
Hmm.
have, you see, they're sitting on Malice with just a couple of PDS that are threatening every wormhole, but they don't feel the need to protect Malice because they have everyone's ceasefire, right? So they get a
Yes.
Yes.
heads up. It's very cool to see all, and nobody wants to come after them because they're useful. That's why I was saying about Empyrean. I thought
Mm-hmm.
Empyrean with Etherstream would be the same. People would be like,
Oh my gosh,
I
dude,
want
for real.
Etherstream,
Hmm.
but
Oh, it would be
Empyrean.
so huge.
Yeah, but and the mechs, right? They're really useful. But what happened was they were weak. Susan was bloodthirsty, and nobody really was paying attention yet. But if this
Yeah.
was happening now, the rich factions like Yasarel and Nomad and Jolnar would be like, "Hang on, I want either stream. Don't kill my Empyrean buddy.
Uh-huh.
Go
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
go after someone else, right?"
Yeah. It is so sad to me, by the way, that both the factions that have been eliminated from this game, Necro and Empyrean, if they were around, they were both, they would have both been extremely good avenues of
Money making.
trade good generation for NomadCoin.
It's
Empyrean with
true.
Dark Pack,
Yes.
I'm getting my commodities 5 times each round,
Yes.
and Necro could have used Temporal Command Suite.
Oh
Oh,
my gosh.
I just
just
Wow.
showing
so sad.
memes. Nomad credit is going up in value, and of course, I mean the Letnev Necro thing uh, would have been really great here, right? Like the endless generation of trade goods with
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Letnev
yeah, I
Mm,
see.
Commander.
Yep.
yes, yes. Oh well. But
Here's
I do want to say that this is definitely my favorite thing about this game is just how thematic it is. And
Hmm.
I think we're just a few player slots away. Like if we hit 30, 40, 50 players, I'm convinced that Twilight Imperium 4th edition would be Turing complete.
oh my God.
That's funny, dude.
That's pretty funny. Here's the meme by the L1 trying to sell the Muat home system. I don't always list, but when I do, it sells. This is a pretty good work by Tomberry. All right, this has been fun. We definitely know NomadCoin is a thing, right? I didn't really represent well the skeptics. Maybe I'll just say because I was very scared of. This is how banks work. I'm scared of losing my credit, so I'm not gonna speak ill of the
Yeah,
NomadCoin.
when do we have the PBD 100 financial crisis and like economic recession that happens in the game? Like when's that going to happen? Like
Well, someone
round
like
My
round 6?
predictions, my predictions state that we will be safe up to round 7. If we hit
Okay.
round 8, we might have a little bit of a rocky time, but I have a provision for that. I do.
You're going to raise the
Nomad
interest
Corp is
rates?
not done rolling out new business tactics. You will see what I mean come round 8 if we get there.
All right, well,
Oh my
we'll
god.
do a video, of course, when that comes. The Nomad Corporation, of course, is too big to fail now. Uh, is guaranteed by the galactic government. I don't
One to
know what.
one with the trade good boys. 1-1. We're going to the moon.
We're
Here,
go to the moon, dude.
here's the thing: you spend a trade good, you buy Nomad Coin, and then it doubles. That's an insane interest rate, right? At the start of a strategy phase, it would double.
Yeah.
That's the exciting bit for
Yes.
us
Yes.
poor Sardock bugs with 2 Nomad
Hmm.
coins. That's gonna be like double our economy for the whole game. Like
Hmm.
there's gonna be parties on Quinara. They're gonna be, you know, it's gonna be a big feast. All right, that is a great update. Let's just keep this game chugging along and see what's the next thing that's gonna come up with this. Thanks, Simple, for your time. I know it's very precious in Nomad Coin. And Brassbird, always a pleasure.
Love you. Love you all.
Hmm.
All right, bye bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.